Izzy. I'm about to fire your ass up, boy. What the fuck was that? Man, this Corey Mack with Mac Show MMA. I'm back again with another video to talk about the results of Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. Look, man, my prediction for this fight was Israel Adesanya going in there and schooling the fuck out of Joe Pyfer. I had Izzy by 4th round TKO because as an Izzy fan, as a guy that grew up following Izzy's career for the longest, I knew he had to systematically break Joe Pyfer down. I knew Joe Pyfer physically could outmatch Izzy. But Izzy kickboxing and his distance and his range and his style had the ability to break Joe Pyfer down by schooling him and beating the fuck out of him and finishing him in the later rounds. And that's exactly what the fuck it was looking like. Until Izzy just said, fuck it. Let me exchange. But, let me break this fight down a little bit. So, first round, they come out, Izzy leg kicking, working them to the body, jabbing them. I mean, everything is almost landing for Izzy. It's looking great. Joe Pyfer started gassing. Joe Pyfer was gassed before the end of the first round. Everything was landing for Izzy. I mean, Izzy was keeping distance. Joe Pyfer was throwing that big right hand, but he was whiffing because Izzy was expecting it and he was keeping the right type of range. I mean, before the first round even ended, Joe Pyfer started shooting desperately. Just like I predicted. I said Izzy was going to be piecing him up, beating his ass to the point where Joe Pyfer would start shooting desperation takedowns. And that's exactly what was happening. First round, it was a beating. Okay? Damn near 10-8. I'm over exaggerating, but shit. Like that's how one-sided it was. We go into the second round, more of the same. Izzy fucking him up. But then for some reason, every time he would have Joe Pyfer on the retreat up against the cage, he would get into Joe Pyfer range and want to exchange. That's not you. You ain't Alex Pereira. You ain't Ilya Tuporia. Hell, you ain't Conor McGregor. You ain't got that type of power. Yeah, you have power, but you don't have that knockout power. I get it. You got overzealous. You haven't got a win in a long time. You seen the end, but you rushed it. You was rushing Izzy. And I don't understand for the life of me why you was constantly getting into his range, the bigger puncher range. You got him beat. He already limping because of the leg kicks. You already done pieced him up. He's already tired. He's shooting desperation takedowns, and you pressing him. That doesn't make sense. I hope that wasn't the game plan. I don't think that was the game plan. I would assume that was all on you. And my thing is this, Izzy, your gas tank, Izzy gas tank didn't necessarily look the best either. I mean, we got into the second round. Joe Pyfer, once he got into Joe Pyfer range, they started exchanging. I believe it was a left hook. That caught Izzy. Had Izzy up against the fence. I mean, Joe Pyfer just started teeing off on him at that point. Izzy hurt. He trying to fight back. Pyfer, he grapples because that's the only thing he could do that was probably going to lead him to victory. That's how bad he was getting his ass whooped. But I thought it was possible that Joe Pyfer could have highlight reel KO'd him on the feet. But the thing was, again, Joe Pyfer's power wasn't the same because a lot of times the power come from your legs. Izzy had fucked the legs up already. He had battered the legs. He battered the lead leg. And Joe Pyfer ain't one of them guys that could switch to southpaw. He's an orthodox fighter, and that's how he's going to stay. And that leg was badly beat up to the point where I don't think Joe Pyfer was going to have the power and the ability to one-shot KO Izzy on the feet. And hence why he took it to the ground after Izzy was hurt. And once he took Izzy to the ground, man, it was clear that the fight wasn't finna last too long. I mean, Izzy was on his back. I mean, he just looked gassed. He just looked like he was desperate for air. Then he gave up his back, then turned around again, then gave up his back again, and Joe Pyfer just started teeing off. I mean, and Izzy, I love Izzy, so this is just me being upset as a fan, but I mean, Izzy just he just flailing his legs just swinging, and he just balled up on the ground, on his fucking stomach, just eating shots to the motherfucking back of the head and the side of the head by Joe Pyfer. Like, please get me the fuck out of here. That's what the fuck it looked like to me. It looked like Izzy gave up. It looked like at the end, Izzy gave up. He was hurt. And at that point, he ain't want no more. That shit looked like physical surrender to me. Them last 10 seconds looked like physical surrender to me when the fight was stopped. And it's just disappointing because the fight was going exactly how I said it was going to go. And at this point, man, Joe Pyfer was food for Izzy. Joe Pyfer was food for Izzy. I don't know who the fuck else Izzy fights to where he could possibly get, I mean, Anthony Hernandez maybe, RDR maybe. I mean, shit. At this point, the way he fighting and getting finished in the second round, shit, he's liable to. He's liable to lose to anybody at this point in time. If I'm being honest with you. I mean, if it was a fight, he should have dominated and won. It was this one. I felt like Joe Pyfer was tailor-made for Izzy. I mean, the Izzy that fought Costa, the Izzy that fought Pereira both times. Shit, the Izzy that fought Cannonier would have fucking schooled Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer wouldn't have had a fucking chance. And that's what it looked like in the first round. Until Izzy got overzealous in the second round and wanted to trade and get in boxing range for some odd fucking reason. So Izzy then lost his last 4 fights in a fucking row. I mean, hell, he done lost his last 5 out of 6. I mean, got stopped by Alex Pereira. Then he knocked Alex Pereira out. That was his last fucking win. Then he loses to Sean Strickland in a lackluster performance. Did not look like himself at all. Then he goes on to fight DDP. Looked good in that fight until he didn't. Got hurt. Then he got subbed. Then he fights Amavov. Looks good in that fight, winning. Then he get knocks out after he switches stance in boxing range and got caught. Then he fights Joe Pyfer and loses that fight. Looks good in the first round, dominating the second round, want to get in boxing range, gets clipped, get hurt, get out grappled, and then just get grounded and pounded. It's bad, man. He got finished the last 3 out of his 3 straight fights. 3 straight fights he didn't got finished. And all 3 fights he looked good until he wasn't. Listen, I'm gonna be optimistic, I guess. If Izzy can be more patient. I mean, what happened to the Izzy that didn't rush things? He took it slow. He took his time. That's the type of style he has. Izzy has the type of style. He has to systematically breaks you down. And then he finishes you. He don't rush anything. He breaks you down until you can't take no more. But like I said, instead, he wanted to exchange with Joe Pyfer in boxing range. He got greedy. And again, that was like the dumbest thing. Like Izzy had he used to have one of the best IQs. The Izzy that was a champion or the Izzy years ago would have never done that. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to Izzy. I mean, the only thing I can say is, I am confident if he fought smarter last night, and actually kept his distance and kept the range and was okay with picking Joe Pyfer apart, I think he would have easily won that fight. I think he would have stopped Joe Pyfer. He would have just naturally stopped Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer wasn't going to take a beating like that for fucking 3-4 more rounds. He just wasn't. You could already tell. The first round, he was already gassed. He was already beat up. It was all over his face. Shooting desperation takedowns in the fucking first round. Now Joe Pyfer finna be in the top 5, Dana said. And I'm going to just be honest. I'm not trying to be a hater here because I like Joe Pyfer. I have nothing against Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer ain't fucking top 5. If we really breaking that performance down he had, Joe Pyfer looked like shit. Sean Strickland will fuck Joe Pyfer up. Amavov will fuck Joe Pyfer up. DDP will fuck Joe Pyfer up. Joe Pyfer ain't ready for none of those guys. He got a gift from Israel Adesanya last night. Izzy gave him a gift last night. And that's just the reality of the situation. Now Izzy probably going to drop to about 7 or 8 probably. I don't know. Again, that's 4 straight that's 4 straight losses. 5 out of 6, lost the last 5 out of 6 and got finished. He didn't got finished 3 straight fights. So I don't know what the fuck UFC gonna do with him. I don't know how they gonna move him. At this point, if I had to assume, they just gonna try to build guys' name off of him at this point. He's just a legend that all the new guys who they trying to build a name up for, can just pick on. If they use him like that, he gonna crush somebody. He gonna fuck somebody up, I believe. If he understands his strengths like he used to do and be patient like he was doing last night and picking them apart instead of getting overzealous and wanting to hurry up and finish somebody. So yeah, Joe Pyfer gonna be in the top 5, and he ain't ready for none of those guys in the top 5. And Khamzat, I don't even want to talk about what Khamzat to do to him. That'd be nasty work. We ain't even got to talk about that. So Joe Pyfer not ready. He showed that last night, and again, Izzy gifted him, man. So I don't know. We know what I don't know what they're gonna do with Joe Pyfer. They're gonna match him up with somebody they deem as a winnable opponent. They're gonna match him up with somebody that's gonna be favorable for him. This was a tricky fight, him fighting Izzy, because nobody knew exactly how the fight was going. Well, we knew that the fight had a possibility to go the way that it was going, But again, Izzy ain't necessarily been making the best decisions in his last few fights. And clearly his chin ain't what it used to be. His reflexes ain't what it used to be. And clearly his decision making and IQ damn sure ain't what the fuck it used to be. Cause I don't know what the fuck that shit was in the middle of the second round. He tried to fucking pull. So I'm just disappointed, man. Happy for Joe Pyfer though. He showed will, he showed grit. But he looked like shit last night, in my honest opinion. He did not look like a top 5 fighter. He's not a top 5 fighter. And they better be careful with who they match him up with next because he a fraud, in my opinion, as far as being top 5. And again, I like Joe Pyfer. This ain't no hate. But everybody knows Izzy was fucking him up. And Izzy gifted him that fucking fight by fighting stupid and making multiple stupid decisions in the second round. So, yeah, man. Izzy got to get back in the win column. He did a post-fight interview. He said he ain't going nowhere. He said he basically want to keep fighting, and yeah, he may be beaten, but he's unbeaten mentally, basically is what he was saying. So when Izzy does come back, in my opinion, he needs to hurry up and come back. He don't need to take no more time off. He can't afford more time off. And I think that's where he's making a lot of these mistakes in these fights. He's going so long without fighting. When Izzy was at the top of his game, when he was at his best, he was active. And that's what I said in my breakdown. When I was talking about this fight, I mentioned Izzy's lack of activity. I mentioned that as a concern to me. And I think that's why Izzy's starting to look sloppy and gassed as the fight go on. I think that has something to do with it. He's not active enough. And he's not making the best decisions. When he see victory, he's rushing it. Because he's not used to being in these spots anymore like he used to be. Because he's not active enough. If Izzy want to get back on the winning track, I urge him as a fan. I urge him to get back in there. Izzy need to be back in there by the end of the year. Izzy needs to be back in there. I would like to see him back in there like around September, October, something like that. He needs to get back in there, man, and fight smart. I just want to see. I just want to see Izzy go in there and fight patient, fight smart, and stop rushing shit. Cause that's never been him. I feel like he did that a bit in the DDP fight. We didn't even get to see it play out in the Amava fight. He looked pretty patient until he switched stance in boxing range and got caught. But then he made bad decisions last night again with Joe Pyfer by fighting Joe Pyfer's fight when he was totally fine fighting his own fight and picking them apart. So we will see, man. Izzy, hey, man, just get back in there. I do still believe in you, but man, you got some work to do, man. You got some work to do. So that's my breakdown, man. That's my analysis of the fight, man. That's my thoughts about it. This is Max Show MMA. I'll be back again with more videos. Peace.